Hi everyone, Deb here. I am here with some alternatives using the Meandering Meadows, I believe it's called. Nope, Memorable Meadows, excuse me. Meandering Meadows, I think, is the suite or whatever, which I don't have. This is the March 2024 Paper Pumpkin Kit. It came with two stamp sets. Oops. This one called Memorable Meadows, and those are the images for it. And this extra one called Daisies for You. Yeah, Daisies for You. It's a two-step stamp set. And I believe I used everything once at least, and most of these several times, of course. I have a few more dimensionals, but it's sort of a cheat because I did use a few of my own. And same thing for the glue dots, but I did use quite a few of them, and I will continue to use them. Um, I have a few of these as well, not too many. I use some other jemmies, and I'll show you them in a minute. So for the first time, I think ever, my first project uses the cardboard, which is very, very thick cardboard in the packaging, and I used it, and I'll show you that soon. From one of the pieces of vellum, I used this Petal Park Builder punch, and I punched several flowers, which you'll see on a project later. Um, some of the tags, or one of the tags, I saved these because I figure I can use them for corners on something else later, but I didn't use them yet. And I thought, well, really, I don't think I'll save this. I could use it like a stencil, but some of them went together, so I don't think I will. So that's going to go in the trash. And I saved this to show you for later, but I don't know if I will. And then I just have a couple little bits here, but I'm keeping them because the first project's going to be for my junk journaling interests lately. I have one card base left. It's this one, and I'm probably going to use this in my upcoming junk journal, which will be a purple floral themed one. This has a lot of purple and it has a lot of green too, but that's okay because I like purple and green together. And this will probably become two journaling spots, and because they're white already on the back, I'll probably just use it for that. I do have three pieces of the wood left, the tissue left, which I'm keeping for something, and for those of you who might be into junk journaling, wouldn't these boxes make a nice, like, multi-signature journal if you cut some of the flaps off and stuff? So I was gonna put this in the recycle, but I think I'm gonna try my hand at making a box journal, but not right away. So let me put this down and I'll show you what I made. So this will be for card makers and junk journalers alike, or journalers. So the first two things, using the cardboard, I made these two sturdy bookmarks or tags or whatever. Um, these are both colored using the Stampin' Up! Baker's Twine Essentials pack. I just used the white and I colored it with Highland Heather Light. And I believe this is Highland Heather also, but I think I used the ink pad, or it might be Gorgeous Grape. It might be Gorgeous Grape. But what I did is I have this little finger thing, and I just pushed it into the ink pad on this one. This one I used my alcohol marker, but I think it was starting to get a little dry, so I stopped doing it, and when I did this one. So on this one, I used the extra, excuse me, the extra stamp set, and I stamped these larger daisies all over in Gorgeous Grape. This is one of the envelopes backing both of these, this and this. But this one I ended up covering with one of the trees out of that card. Hang on. This tree right here. So I cut it like this. And then I had two pieces, which I used on the next two cards. And then on the back of these, I backed them with fresh freesia. See, they're cut a little different because I did them manually, because this stuff is hard to cut. And I actually cut the cardboard with my trimmer. I sliced it down this way. They're 2.5 inches wide each, and I believe about 5-ish inches tall. This one I stamped. It's the little things. This was a piece of envelope cut in half, the white part of it, since I had used the fronts here and on here too, but I buried this one. Um, and I did use a gadget called a crocodile. I'm trying to figure out what I do with it. Here it is. It's not a Stampin' Up product, but, and I have only used this, let me get this thing off my finger. I have only used this a couple times, and it does have a hole punch thing, but I had to go through the front and then through the back, and then I still had to cut some of the hole out, and I did use these gold, whatever these things are called, grommets. And then I forgot that was on there, and I actually, on this one, I put the Fresh Freesia paper up over the grommet. So, yeah, anyway, that one is crooked. This one's in the middle better. But, I covered them both. And I stamped It's the Little Things That Matter out of the kit in Gorgeous Grape. This is Gorgeous Grape on envelope background. Okay? So that's my first project or projects. So then I said I had, I had this piece and this piece left. So here comes this piece right here. I also had some scraps of Fresh Freesia, and I put this on, this is one of the envelopes from the kit. I put this on Gorgeous Grape, but I ran the Fresh Freesia through one of these new Stampin' Up embossing folders, this one. And since it's a thin strip, it's perfect for these little embossing folders. I'm going to bring the other one in at the same time. This one is the other side over here that I had cut. So I cut the middle for that tag because I just wanted that smaller tree. It fit perfectly on there. Anyway, on this one I used this pattern, and on the one on the purple I used the daisy pattern because I used daisies. I stamped the daisies in Gorgeous Grape, and I believe I colored them in Fresh Freesia with a little bit of Highland Heather in the middle. Oh, it's two-step. I used Fresh Freesia for the coloring in, and then I went over with a little bit of Highland Heather ink, but there was a stamp that did that. And this part is Daffodil Delight, and this I believe is Granny Apple Green. And I used the two-step stamps in the set, and I just layered them. I like doing that. And then here I did use a piece of the vellum. I stamped You've Been on My Mind in Gorgeous Grape. And these jemmies are from the annual catalog Purple Fine Shimmer Gems. They're part of the Painted Lavender Suite in the catalog that ends in April. And I used the Gorgeous Grape color. Okay, so that's that one. And then this one, same idea. This is Highland Heather ribbon. I think it's probably retired. I think it's just called Shimmer Ribbon. Highland Heather grosgrain ribbon. Sorry, 1/2 inch. I have still some left, so I'm using what I have. And I stamped in Garden Green, like it came with the kit. Here are those same jemmies I just showed you, but in Highland Heather. Oh, and in the background, it was too plain, and the stamp set, one of them, has dottage. It's in the wrong place, but it's up here, but you can see the dots. So I went on both sides and in a little bit, from the edge, just to give it a little more added texture. And then these, so there's 3 of those, and then 2 of the sequins from the kit. Inside, I put heartfelt thanks because, oh, this To a Friend That Makes Me Smile, that comes out of Forever Fern. just wanted something else on the front, but then I used the sentiment from the kit. Inside, I stamped the little daisy from the main kit, and this is just a little scrap I had left over from, I think, from cutting like this down somewhere there, and it was sharp, but I cut it off. And this I think I actually colored in Berry Burst Light and Dark and Granny Apple Green, but I stamped it in Garden Green, and the background is Garden Green here. So I thought those were pretty. Okay, next up is where I use the punch. And this is where that one scrap I wanted to show you. Hang on. Let me grab it. So this was the card that had a lot of sky on it. This one? So let me think a minute. No. Yes, this is a different circle. Okay, never mind. Yes, this is this sky. I had to think for a minute. Actually, no it isn't. This is for a different one. This one is this sky. It's this right here, because the next card I used this part for the next project. So these are, I cut this with the deckled circles dies from Stampin' Up. This paper, okay, it's a balmy blue card base, Stampin' Up cardstock. This paper is a scrap from, I think, out of the Painted Lavender. Yeah, it's this one that has this on the back. And this, I just used that to add a little texture without texture to the front of the card. Put down the deckled circle. I glued down the various Park Builder flower punch. And then I stamped Thanks a Bunch. That's out of, I was looking for something that referred to the flowers. And that actually came out of Retired Celebrate Sunflower. I wanted a long thank you, and the kit has the heartfelt thanks, which is, you know, bigger and wider. So I was looking for a skinnier thank you, and there it was. Now this one, I used a ruler that I just bought off Amazon, this part here, and I tore it around. I had to fix it a little bit, and then I just, I did the edges too, and then I inked around it with Gorgeous Grape, stamped in Gorgeous Grape. This is up on dimensionals, the rest is not. And then I didn't have any pale blue ribbon from Stampin' Up, and I might not have any from anywhere. So what I did is I took, I don't know if they still have this. This is the seam binding. I might have, this was available for a long time. Yeah, 21 to 22, 22 to 23, but I think it's not in the current catalog. Anyway, crinkled seam binding ribbon. This stuff is great. I think I have another pack somewhere, I hope. And I took my balmy blue alcohol marker, the dark one, but it's almost dried up, and so it didn't really give me a good lot of color. So I actually think I also went over it with Seaside Spray, which is retired, and I have that alcohol marker still. And then these are, I don't know if these are still available either. These are, I used these the other day, yesterday, also on my index card. These are flat adhesive back pearls, but they have this iridescent quality to them. And they're kind of odd shaped. I thought they'd be perfect for flowers, and they're kind of flat. And then I did use 3 of the sequins here. So that was fun. Something different. And let's see, inside I had a strip of the background paper and a strip of the sky from that card. So that's what I did on that one. So how do you like them so far? So yesterday I made these two. These took me a while because it was hard to get the cardboard cut punched. And I did this one yesterday, and I think this one because I wanted to finish that one sheet of card. And then this, everything else I made today. So after I did that circle, I had this piece left. I didn't feel like making a card with it, but I made a little journaling spot pocket. Could be a double pocket if I glue it in just on the sides. And of course, this is that same paper out of Painted Lavender, and this is out of Painted Lavender also. It's a different sheet though. It had green on the back, and I just put a piece of white scrap on the back of it as a journaling spot or a little tag. And I thought that was pretty for my purple journal I'm going to be making soon. So that was that one. And then I just was to the daisy card now, and all I did was made this into a flip spot for my journal. I have double-sided tape already on there to put it on. And these I stamped. These are the single daisies from the main stamp set with the sentiments and everything. I stamped them in garden green. I colored the leaves in granny apple green, so that it wouldn't show through. Actually, I didn't use granny apple green. I used, because I couldn't unbury my other markers, but my retired ones are real handy. So this is So Saffron in the center, which is retired, dye basting so they wouldn't go through. This is Pear Pizzazz for the leaves. But I don't have bubble bath in the markers. So I did use light bubble bath, and all I did was go around the edges of the flowers. And then I took Wink of Stella, and I just Wink of Stella'd it and tried to pull a little more of the color in, but I like that. And this is meant to give, in a journal, it's meant to give writing space. So you have that pretty picture with lots of pinks and purples and greens, and then you have this that you can just write something on. So that was that one. So then that gave me the idea, well, that's sort of like, I'm talking about a book. Why not do a take on a book binding card? So that's what I did. So this is the other part of that card. Now I did it a little different. Usually you keep the card base, and you keep the whole card base, the 8.5, or this would be 11, 11 by 4.25, and then scored at 5.5. But I didn't do that. I just had the card front. I scored 1/2 inch. I got balmy blue, and I glued that to there. And I didn't put anything here because I figured balmy blue is light enough, and then you have the white here that you can just write inside. But then I took a little retired Stampin' Up! 1/8 inch hole punch and some of that white baker's twine, and I sewed it like you do a junk journal in a way, but without a needle. So I just went down the middle hole, up through here, back down through the middle hole, up through here, and then looped it under and tied a bow. And I put a little bit of glue on the bow just so it doesn't come undone. I did use a piece of the vellum. I used more of that ribbon I showed you earlier in Highland Heather. I stamped in balmy blue, and then I used the little birds and dragonfly, and they are adhesive back dragonflies and birds. I think they're in the current annual catalog, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I'm not sure if they're part of the Lavender Suite or something else. And I put this going the other way with the dome up instead of hanging down, because I think, yeah, in the original kit it goes like that, but I wanted it like that. because I wanted to see a lot of the flowers on this too. So that's something a little different, and it's not as thick as having, you know, a card base like this, you know, double thick, because this is a thinner layer. Back in the old day, they didn't send real thick cards either, you know? Anyway, something fun. Trying to see where this was there. So that was the next one, and I just put it with one of the kit envelopes. I only used the one envelope in the very beginning. Okay, so next we had this card. And what I did is I cut it in two, like here. I just cut it in half. And I left it so that it can open like a card, but the colors on this reminded me of Easter. So I brought out the, where is it? The Excellent Eggs stamp, Stampin' Up stamp. I brought out the dies too, but you know what? The dies I have don't work with the Stampin' Up stamps. None of them. None of them worked with it. So I fussy cut all this. So I stamped this in garden green. I colored it in, oh gosh, I can't remember if that's, I think that's Bubble Bath Dark. These, wasn't sure if these were like lily pads or puddles of water, so I took them as puddles of water and I colored them in balmy blue. The bunny rabbits are colored in gray granite with a little bubble bath on its nose, and I used a white chalk marker for their tails, which you can only see two of. And then the grass is dark granny apple green, and then the whole thing's colored in light granny apple green. This one I used fresh fuchsia and light and dark, and azure afternoon, I think. Yes, light and dark. And then the bunny is again in gray granite. Used a little chalk. Actually, no, I didn't. I used the color remover here for the chest and a little bit down here, and the tail is in chalk marker, and bubble bath on the ears and nose, and a little dot of blue in its eye. I stamped Happy Easter from the same set and in Gorgeous Grape. I did bump that up, put it on that Gorgeous Grape vellum, and used 3 of those purple dots. And I thought this would be, there's nothing inside, I thought this would be cute. I could punch a hole here and hook it on to a little Easter basket for a granddaughter or my daughter and her family, because we're getting to the age now where we don't do too many children type stuff, even though my one granddaughter is 11. So that's the first half of that card base, and here's the second half. I just made it into a little tag, which is really pretty. I did stamp heartfelt thanks in it, and I did the flower the same way I showed you in that other card, with bubble bath and the 2 dye based markers after I stamped in garden green. And this is Bubble Bath ribbon from Stampin' Up. And I guess that's still current until May anyway, right? So that's what I did with this card. And then the next one, okay, the next 2, I painted the wood pieces. So this is, I think this is the back of this one. Yeah. This starts with the back of this card base. So these other 2 only used, no, they used the whole thing. So I had another one of these. So this is, actually this is the front. So now I'm confused what I did. Whoops, hang on. What I did. Okay, this is the back and the front. I don't know, guys. I have another half of a card somewhere that I haven't accounted for yet. Maybe I'll get to it still. I think I will. Anyway, so this is the front of this card. You cannot see the trees on this because of that wood piece. So I moved that up to the sky. I did use the wider vellum, Let me tell you, I'll show you what I used. I put gesso on, and I shouldn't have done that because I have these vintage paints and they're meant for wood. They're called Colorful Soul Ultimate Paint. Um, and, but see, this is like green opal, so I mixed it with some of this blue stuff, blue fluorite, and then I thought it was still too bluey, so I mixed in a little yellow. And that gave me a better color, but the problem is because I had gessoed it, this is meant to go right on the wood. You don't have to treat the wood first, and I forgot that. So I wasn't getting the coverage because of the gesso, which is weird because usually you put gesso on so you can get better coverage. So I went looking at my other paints and I found this evergreen bough, which that doesn't look evergreeny to me. And sure enough, it was too light. So then I put a little dab of black in to darken it, but then I had to make it more olivey. So I put in a little bit of this antique gold and a little bit of this yellow. Anyway, I was playing with this thing for like an hour, just trying to get the color right and everything, which is ridiculous, but that's what I did. And then I had to wait for it to dry. And I finally think I sort of got the color to match. And I meant to, and what I did is I have this paintbrush, that was my mother's. I have a set of hers. It's this sort of stubby brush, and it worked better instead of smoothing it like this to just push it on. And it also made it look a little more textured. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It has like a little bit of a rough finish. And a couple times I put yellow down and then I just dabbed. And anyway, it's closer to this tree color than I had it before. So yay. I stamped It's the Little Things That Matter from the kit. This is Sheer Gorgeous Grape that's retired, those same purple gemmies. This is bumped up because it's over the tree, and then I have a dimensional here and here. And inside, I put the You've Been on My Mind, and just to strip off the edge of the paper here. Okay, so that's that one. Now the next one is the daisies, but I went a little different. So let me pull the original card. So you can see it's, this, and all beautiful, just beautiful daisy. So I don't remember whether I used the front or the back on this, but I cut a circle out that's where that other one is from, I think, with the deckled circle dies. And is that this one? Yeah. So it's from the front of the card. It's from here, right here. And I think this is from the other half down here. And we'll use that on the next project here coming up. So what I did is I did that. This paper is a piece out of, I think it's from the Painted Lavender set again. One second. No, it's not. It's from Dainty Flowers. It was a celebration item from 2023. And this is it, and it has these on the back. And I had like 2.5 sheets of that, so I used it on two projects, I think, coming up. Oh, sorry. This ribbon I finished. It was a Just Jade color, and I painted this one too. Now this one I didn't use gesso, and I just used those vintage little jars, and but I did dab a tiny little bit of gold on to give it sparkle in the leaves. Can you see that? I stamped the double daisy flower on the background paper. This is on Fresh Freesia because this color is Fresh Freesia, and I don't know if this is Bubble Bath or Fresh Freesia, but it went with it, right? And I stamped in Fresh Freesia. I got a little mark there, I see. And these are retired, and they are Just Jade. Anybody remember these adhesive backed hexagons? I hardly used any of them. I think this was Blushing Bride, which retired, Black, and Just Jade. And yeah, they were from the Abstract Beauty Suite, which I think I still have the stamp set that goes with that. Anyway, I thought they went perfectly because this color sort of looks just jadey to me. And so I used the last bit of this, except for one little scrap, which you'll see on the next project. And then inside, I stamped off with fresh freesia, put another daisy, and just a strip of the background paper. I love that one. I think it's beautiful, but I'm a little biased. So the other part of that same card, I don't remember which way, had to go this way. Anyway, I just cut a deckled rectangle out, and I had a little scrap from something of the cardboard, of the paper, and I had two little tiny pieces of Just Jade because I cut that ribbon off not realizing I was at the end, and I had a strip like this long, and then I found I had another little strip about this long, so I glued them together with a glue called Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Tac, and then I glued them onto a little strip of the paper, like if I cut this, only it would have been shorter. And then I have this little stapler from We Are Memory Keepers. It has different color staples. I don't know if they make it anymore. But I had, the staples were out, so I found these sort of pinky purpley ones, and I thought that went with it. That'll go in my junk journal too. And then I have two more cards, I think. Yes, well, here's one of them. I don't know what I do with the other one, so I'll have to find it in a second. So this is on Bubble Bath, and it's the same paper. And this is also cut out of the other side with the deckled rectangle dies. But then I was pulling scraps. Okay, so the background here was done in Bubble Bath, but using this piece here that I think looks like a hollyhock, sort of. But I just stamped all over the Bubble Bath, both full strength and also stamping off. I used this little piece, but this piece, one sec, I'm trying to remember, guys. This green came out of the one I just showed you, the Dainty Flowers. And I think that other piece did too. Trying to find another scrap of it. Yeah, it was this on the other side. But this strip was already in here, so all I did was I took these. I have decorative scissors that somebody gifted me years ago, and this was already a strip, and I just cut it down with, which I can't cut straight to save me, but these. So if you have something like that, or even pinking shears, or you can just tear it. And then on another one, the final card, I used these zigzaggy ones, just so you know, so I don't have to get them out again. Oh, and that ribbon was way back from 2021 Flowers for Every Season combo pack. It had white, the green, and like a misty moonlight and silver blue twine in it or something. Anyway, I used the bubblegum ribbon, stamped in bubblegum on the last one of these strips. And these butterflies, I had almost forgotten about till now. I was thinking when I was using those little dragonflies and birds that I have butterflies I should look for. And then I remembered, oh, I have this whole pack of paper butterfly accents from the Perennial Lavender Suite that had been unopened. They're in the current catalog, annual catalog. So I colored one in bubble gum with a little bit of, bubble bath with a little bit of fresh freesia, and then I used Highland Heather Dark, all alcohol markers. And then I just took a little bit of this glitter glue that I don't know where I got, Walmart or somewhere. I can't read what that says. It has an N on it. Yeah, I don't know where I got it. Maybe Dollar Tree. I'm not sure. Years ago, and I just took my finger and smeared it on there, and then I did use some of the sequins from the kit, and then inside I just did the same stamping like I did on the background here. And I was out of envelopes now, so I just used a basic white one from Stampin' Up. I put this down with Fabri-Tac because I figured it would hold through to the top, and I put a block on it to dry. And now, hold on, I'll be back with the last card in a second. See, wasn't that quick? Okay, so here I went back to Fresh Freesia. Oops, I used that same paper I showed you earlier. I did, had another bit of paper left from the flowers, and this time I just used those other scissors I showed you that look like pinking shears almost. Another scrap of that green, but it was a square, but it had a little stemmy thing sticking out, so I just cut it off and I used the same on that. And then after I did that, I remembered, oh, I have postage stamp dies. I could have used those probably. Oh well. I had this stuff handy. I did use another piece of the wood pieces. I still have a few wood pieces left. This is the last label I had. And I think I put it the same way they did this time in the beginning. Yeah, like that. And I did stamp heartfelt thanks in garden green. No, this is stamped in old olive actually, because this paper is old olive and there is old olive in here. I used another one of the butterflies. This time I colored it in with, I think Fresh Freesia and a little bit of Balmy Blue. And then the center is again done in Highland Heather. So you can see it's a different butterfly than this one, but out of the same pack. I think they're pretty. I would like to leave them with their wings up, but I'm afraid they'd tear, you know. And then I just used the sequins as additional embellishment. And then inside, all I have is a strip of the background paper. So those are my alternatives. So let's see how many we have. We have one, two, we'll see how many cards. Three, these don't count. Four, oops, I had to get up on screen, right? I'm going to count these. I'll count these as one, even though they're two. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh, sorry. Oh my goodness. 7, 8, 9. 9 alternative cards plus, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, such a kind of a disaster getting them up here. This one's not fitting in right because it's a bookbinding kind of thing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, oh, plus these two I'm counting as one even though they're two. So there's 9. And then I have a flip for any journal, a pocket for any journal, another little tag or tuck spot. It'll go in a pocket, something like that, and 2 very thick cardboard tags. So lots of ideas for journals or cards for you there. I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what your favorite is, or if I inspired you at all. I hope so. And let me know if you're going to make any of these, or at least start with these ideas. I'd appreciate it if you do that. That's fine with me. Just please give me credit so other people come watch my channel too. I'm not a demonstrator. I used to be years ago, a couple years ago now, but I do still love the product, and I have made a decision to continue Paper Pumpkin for second quarter, April, May, and June. I'm kind of liking the sounds of April's. I don't have any idea what May and June are yet, but I guess I can pause if I want to skip one or something and extend my 3 months. I'll renew for 3 months and see how it goes. So I had a lot of fun, and now I'm done with the kit pretty much, except I have the box and a few wood pieces, and I'm going to put it away. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked anything about this, please give me a thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you don't know what a junk journal is, it's new to me too, but it's a really fun thing to make. And I'm actually, let me show you real quick. I'm actually using my very first junk journal. I'm writing in it daily, almost daily. This is it, and it was made with all Dollar Tree products. This one was. And I did another one, and these are videos on my channel if you haven't seen them. The other one is all wild animals and also Dollar Tree, and made out of paper sandwich bags and other goodies. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that video. There's a couple videos for that one, and there's several for this one, but the finished walkthrough is in a separate video. And I believe it's called My Very First Junk Journal is Finished or something, Dollar Tree. It was a collaboration. So, yeah, very fun. And that's what I'm making these for. I have a purple one I'm going to be making in April. I might start it a little earlier than that, and these will all be for use in that journal. All right, guys, take care. Hugs, love, and peace. Thank you so much for watching and being part of my channel.